comes up, what do we do when we go to those clubs? How do we do a successful visit? Well, I would like to introduce, not only is he our Division C governor right now, or upcoming, he is a past district governor, and he's going to tell you all about your club visits. Please welcome Ray Stonehouse.
I suppose I should be grateful that you didn't introduce me as the boss.
So that would be Sandra.
Area governor, making stronger clubs. Why am I up here? That's a good question. The short version of this presentation is that if you read your manual, and if you do everything that's in your manual, and if you read the job description that's on the web page, and you do everything on your job description, and if you complete a area governor and division governor yearly plan of action, you will have an exceptional year. You will also have no time to do absolutely anything else in life. You won't be able to go to work. You won't eat. You won't feed yourself. Your personal hygiene is likely to become a popular topic of conversation around the household. So that's one end of the spectrum, and then there's the other end of the spectrum. So now Doug did give an interesting introduction to why I'm up here. Just expanded upon a little bit further. I also found out this morning that I knew that I was president of 2 clubs. I also found out this morning that I was the president of a 3rd club. So, and I'm also the District 21 webmaster. So Doug's theme, test your limits. How much? You're really, at what point are your limits being tested? As the district governor, unless you've taken on the role, and there's a few people here who have taken on the role, you don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. Because the district governor, your role is to build a stronger district, and you do that by working on or with the individual member and the individual clubs that they are members of. So the area governor role, this is really who this presentation is directed at, you are our direct interface between the district, we call it the top 3, but really I've just learned as a district governor that they're not the top 3, they're actually the bottom 3. This man here is going to become the lowest man in our entire district. Because we have our organizational structure, our hierarchy is different than you would have in your work site. Instead of your boss at the top, we have our member. We have our member, then we have the 7 club executive, we have full 7. Then you have the area governors, which we have a large number of you in this room. Your role, of course, is to support those teams of 7 members. The division governors, our role is to support you as area governors. And the top 3, their role is to support all of us in our job, and our job is helping the member succeed. So as the district governor, we get privy to different information. We get reports twice a year on how your clubs are doing. And those reports are very valuable to us, and that's the area governor reports that you are going to be completing. Has anybody how many area governors here have served as an area governor before? Oh, we have lots of experience in this room. And it's going to be an interactive presentation, so I'm going to rely upon you. Interestingly enough, as the district governor and the lieutenant governor of education and training before that, that's 2 years of looking at area governor reports. That means in those 2 years, I've seen close to 1,100 club reports. And I've read every single word of them, every single one. Where's my fellow district governor? Mike, did you read every single word?
Every one right.
Margaret, we're not so sure about. We're not so sure about Margaret. Keep it like, where's Margaret? Margaret's not here.
I'm looking in the back.
You'd read every word?
Of course I did.
Joanne?
Yes.
There you go. You're hanging on every single word that you're putting in on your reports that you're doing. Now, what I found interesting in my year as district governor, it'd be amazing to hear at the end of, close to the end of the year in May, I actually had division governor come to me and say, I don't know who my area governor is. Ooh, we've got a problem here. First off, the area governor is not making themselves known. They're missing in action. The division governor is not doing their role. We've also had club presidents that have came to me when I was the district governor towards the end of the year and saying, I don't know who my area governor is. So So there's something missing in there. One of the things when I was sitting down listening to Margaret's presentation and then listening to Mike's presentation, I think what's going to happen is that all of our presentations are going to step on the people that come after us president, their toes. Margaret gave pretty well the first half of my presentation. Mike finished off my presentation. So are there any questions on those? Something that I really found interesting was that the area governors, towards the end of the year, and we have to remember, you're volunteers, you're taking this position on, the pay is not all that good. Would you admit to that? It gets worse as you get, the pay gets less. Your time goes up, your pay gets less. So the pay is not there, so you have to find a reason to take on this area governor role. And the reason is you have to decide that for yourself. What do you hope to achieve at the end of your year? What do you hope to get out of it? Is it you want to practice your leadership skills? You want to go out there and give more speeches to different groups that you wouldn't have the opportunity? You just want to practice your networking and mingling skills. It's really a matter of what you hope to achieve. Because once you figure that out, that's your leverage point. Then you can start to work with all your different clubs to see if they can help you meet your needs. Because that's the big carrot. We don't pay you. There has to be something in there for you. And if you're helping the clubs themselves meet their needs, it's a win-win situation. But one of the things that came up was, and then the people that have served as area governors, one of the bottom lines on the area report is, what can the district do to help my club? And I don't know how many times I saw it. The area governor has written, the district should be more visible. Well, I've got news for you all. You are the district. As the area governor and the division governors don't make club business, but the area governor, you are the direct interface, you are the representative of the district. So if the club has recognized the fact that they could use some additional training or some bigger picture ideas that they don't necessarily get, that falls into your lap to do it. And nothing says that you have to do it on your area governor visit. Some areas are quite open to having different, we started a project, a process for lack of other words, called TLI, Toastmasters Leadership Institute, a couple years ago. Really hadn't been done a lot within District 21 Toastmasters, certainly hadn't been other ones. What the idea is that you provide extra information. So you may tack it on to your regular area contest, or you may tack it onto a division contest or an education session, but you're putting out information for other Toastmasters to attend. It's a value-added program. And that's a great way to get other people to come into the program that, well, I don't want to be a division or a club officer. Once they see the club officers having fun at a assuming they have fun. You have fun in the club officer? I had fun. Assuming they're having fun, they're more apt to join on and take on that role. Because, let's face it, some of these executive roles, when you first say, yeah, I'll take it on, it's pretty scary for that period of time until you have your training session. Then you find out, well, that is scary, because then you find out all the things that you are responsible for. So, as I say, I've had to adapt my presentation from Margaret and Mike. So what I want to give you is some sage advice. Now, some documents that are of value to you, the manuals, yes, they are quite thick. There's a lot of information in there. What I would suggest you to do is get yourself one of those yellow highlighters. It's your manual for the year. It's of no value at the end of the year. Go through it and highlight everything that applies to your position. And if it doesn't make any sense, just go up the line, down the line in our case, because we decided that. As area governors, go to your division governor saying, you know, I found something in my manual here, I don't quite understand it. Talk to your division governor. If you're division governor and you don't know what it is, this is why you have your team of 3, your lieutenant governor education training. Where's he hiding? Tom's still here, Tom left the building. Tom's still in the building. If you have problems with the educational program or anything specific, there's always somebody to ask. You don't have to puzzle over some of these things. Some of the other documents that are important to you, has anybody not been to the District 21 website? Not been.
But you have never been there?
Well, I'm just checking. I'm just showing what it's like to show you that. I've been there a couple of times because I'm also the district webmaster for the last couple of years. And what I draw your attention for, if you look on the left-hand side under resources, there's a section called nominations. If you look under nominations on the left-hand side of the district webpage, there is a list of job descriptions. they've been around for a few years. I updated them the year that I was district governor, and I have updated the area governor one. Basically, the only real updates is just changing the date on it. So there are area governor job descriptions there. There are job descriptions for the division governor. And some of the stuff that Margaret talked about, some of the stuff that Mike talked about, are covered under your responsibilities and expectations. Like expectations of an area governor. Commit to reaching President's Distinguished Area status by June 30th, 2010. Is everybody here committing to that? Now it's time to put your hands up. Everybody's committing to that. Motivating every club in your area to be a distinguished club. Is that really all that difficult? Yeah, it is actually. He's shaking his. It is a challenge because they don't always see the big picture. One of the things that didn't come up in my introduction was I've served as club president on twice before. I've served as area governor on 2 occasions before. I've served as division governor on 1 occasion before. So I've been taking on a leadership role every single year. And in the beginning years, the district trio used to come to me and say, we need more CTMs, because that's what they were back in those days. We need more CLs. It was just numbers. I didn't appreciate it. It didn't mean anything to me at all. Until I became the Lieutenant Governor in Education and Training, and I had my knuckles wrapped a few times, these numbers really are important. It's not a matter of numbers. What the numbers tell you is that it's a way of keeping score. That's the way it was explained to me at my regional training from my international directors, that the Distinguished Club Program is a way of keeping score. We're in business. Our business is providing economical, communication, and leadership training. We're the best at that. There are other companies that do it. There are companies that charge a lot more money than what we do. But we are the best at what we do. So our product is providing that competence, or that communication and leadership training. One of the ways we do it is by maintaining a quality assurance program, which is a Distinguished Club Program. So if we're, as area governors, are influencing our club members to participate in the program, if they're putting out a quality program where checks and balances are in place, you have VP of Education is doing their role in making sure that the integrity of the education program is in place. They're challenging people to take on increasingly more difficult speeches. You've got membership, VP of Membership, VP of Publicity. They're bringing new blood, new people in. That's a quality assurance. You're going to have a good club. If you have a good club, you're going to churn out these numbers for those people who like the numbers, but you're more likely to get more people in because they see that this is a strong, vital club. So that's why we do it. But where do you fit into this as the area governor? It's even more challenging when you make a visit to your own club, because you're not really the area governor the week before, you're not the area governor the week after. Something to do is to get your club used to, on the particular time you make a meeting, or you attend a meeting in an official capacity, is to tell the chairperson or the president of your club for that particular meeting that this is an official visit. With an official visit, you should be addressed with the respect and dignity you should get by your office. You know, Madam or Mr. Area Governor, Mr. President, it goes that way. But you have to be assertive and impress upon them, because some of these clubs, some of our clubs are insular. Insular meaning that they have not attended club officer training, their officers haven't. Some of them have not attended area contests in many years. You have some members, you've probably heard the term dinosaurs. Anybody heard that they're allowing women into Toastmasters? There are still some Toastmasters out there, dinosaurs, that remember those days. And you can't do that because it's never been done. It hasn't been done that way before. But they're going on old information. They're not going on the information that is passed around by attending education sessions like this. They believe that their club is a carbon copy of every other 10,000 clubs in the entire world. And that's not true. So you're, as area governor, when you're going in there, you're not going in there as the boss. We've talked about what the boss means. You're not going in as their manager, but you're going in as a liaison between the clubs and the district. And your role is to help them to succeed. It may be by providing an educational. It may be by, you know, in the break, having a chance to talk and mingle with some of the members that have been there for a while. Perhaps they've gotten stagnant. Perhaps you have to challenge them to take on more roles. That's your role. You're not there to go in there and say, oh, you guys are doing this all wrong. You know, that was not the way to do things. And yet, some area governors have gone in to do that because that's what they feel the role is. And that's not the way it should be. One of the things I'm trying to give you some sage advice here. One of the things I would suggest, how many times we determine area governor visits? How many times a year?
Twice or more.
Or more, right. It doesn't have to be a minimal of 2. I would suggest that first thing you do is you make the arrangements in advance with your president and the VP head of the club. Don't just show up and say, guess what? Today's your official visit. You better be on your best behavior because we're keeping track. Some area governors have done that. What happens is the area governor is the first, as you know, they're taking on the role. It's the first role outside of your comfort zone, or let's say your club. Everybody knows you're in your club, but all of a sudden you have to start visiting 4 to 7 different clubs, and it'll be your areas. So that can be for people that are just starting to become more self-confident, self-aware, self-assurance. That can be a daunting task, and that's probably where the problem lies. And that I would challenge any division governor if you're seeing some patterns of just say non-performance in your area governors. It may be just the shyness coming in. It may not be that they're throwing today is getting grammarian. They're not being obstreperous or anything like that. I would also suggest that you, as an area governor, the workload can get challenging. I would suggest that you get yourself an assistant. Probably one of the first things you should do at the beginning of the year is find yourself a replacement. Because guess what happens? I know that there's area governors in this room that have done the role at least 2 times in the past, taken on for the 3rd time. It's not always because nobody else took it on, because they've enjoyed the position, or there hasn't been anybody else. But it would behoove you to find yourself a replacement. If you get an assistant, there are advantages to it. Now, for most of your clubs down on the coast here, within your area, your clubs are pretty close. There's areas in Division D where it's about a 600-mile drive from club to club. So you can be on the road for a while. At a time like that, an assistant, we do have permission from Toastmasters International that your assistant can also make a club visit on your behalf. One of the challenges that I had the first year I was Area 39 governor, I had 4 clubs that all met on Tuesday night. That was a little interesting. Something to do, and I can see it happening a little bit already here with we're broken up into our divisions, a little bit of camaraderie starting to develop with our areas. I suggest you do the same thing with your clubs, your club presidents. I would suggest that you Mike said club president, VP, who did you say, Mike? VP Ed? Who was your 3rd person you felt that you
Membership.
Okay, I would support that too. At least the top 2. At least the top 2. And you may get resistance because the old way of doing it was that the area governor only spoke to the club president. There are some people that have the belief that the club president is totally in control of everything. I've always believed that the position of real power and control and the success of the club is the VP of education. Because if they don't do their job, that club falls apart very quickly. So I would suggest that you communicate with them. At least you've got a 3-way conversation going with your club presidents. Because the odds are your replacement may come from one of those people. If you can develop some camaraderie, maybe some challenges between them. If you've got a club that's really strong, you've got a club that's perhaps weak, maybe pairing them up, even a buddy system helping, there's that expression that you probably heard, you can't push the string, so you can pull it. And that's a leadership technique. If you get your stronger club, they can help pull that weaker club up. That's ways to do that. Any questions so far? It's supposed to be interactive, but I'm doing all the time. Any questions come up here on this? If not, I'll keep talking.
I'm thinking, I like this idea that having the meetings with the club presidents and VP heads, etc. How many times during a year should those meetings happen?
Should isn't the word that really.
Okay, what would be a good guideline?
It really depends. You can go in with best intentions. It also depends on what they will allow you to do. And we're servant leaders. So we can go in saying, my way or the highway, this is what we're going to do, push them or pull them. Or you can say, we're only going to have it at our area contest, we're going to have it. But I would suggest that you try something. As we progress through our program, it becomes increasingly more challenged to take on these leadership positions. So I would suggest that as area governors, and division governors too, is that you try taking on a high-performance leadership project. The second time that I served as area governor, what I did for my HPL was that I was in Area 39. Area 39 had divided, so it was the new Area 39. So that was my theme for the year, the new Area 39. And I developed an area council for that particular year. So what I had done, as for a win-win, I did my HPL, I took out a membership in our local Chamber of Commerce for $100 for a year. What that got me was a free rental of the boardroom once a month. So what I did was, I was building bridges, win-win. I had monthly meetings of my area council. And, you know, I didn't get full attendance every time, but I had anywhere from 10 to 20 people at any given time. But what I also had was, we talked about area events, deciding who's going to host the contest, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. But I also fitted in that there was education program in there. I fit in stuff like judges training. I fit in different things that, or subjects that weren't necessarily covered under any other place. So there was a value added. The area governor that came in after me didn't feel that it was worth their time, so they didn't continue with it. But that's nothing, and that may happen. You have no control what happens. You've only got that little window where you're in charge. If they want to go for it, I would suggest that you do whatever you want to do. Just hold it up to them. They want to come out, and it's going to be win-win. Any questions? Go ahead.
The three people you've mentioned, club president, VP education, VP membership, are they the area council?
They are. Yep.
The experts say yes?
If you want to have them.
I agree with the experts then. That doesn't mean that the rest can't come with them. It just gets down to the point, if it comes to a vote, that's where the key part is to a vote. You have a question, comment back there?
Would you suggest the bosses of the club being advisors?
No.
Right answer.
Well, you're referring to a previous speaker, I can't comment on that. At the risk of being called a boss. My way or the highway. Has anybody seen a club area visit form? I'm going to be sending out, one of the things I have on the district web is that there is a link to a website or web page of resources for area and division governors and district teams that I created a couple years ago. So the last couple years I've been using it. I need to get new information on there from Doug, and I need to update it. But
Page 129.
In the manual?
Yeah.
no, it's online.
No, yeah, the manual too.
One here. Page
Right in the
129.
What is? Okay. Yeah, I would suggest that, well, there are some online, where I was going with that, there are some online versions of it. I would suggest that you send it to your clubs in advance. Because once you get there, certainly the corporate clubs and some of the other clubs, they're chop. When that time is over, they want to get out of there. They don't want to sit down with you and answer your questions. Because it's the same questions over and over again. Yet it's information that we need. And what we basically need is to know who are the up-and-coming postmasters so that we can help find win-win situations for them and, taking on charity contests, finding opportunities for them. So I would suggest that you contact your club president, your club VP of Ed, saying, I'm coming, does this date work for you? These are the expectations of what my visit will be about. And put the information out there so they have a chance to send it back to you. Then when you go there, you've got your form ready, and then you just agree with it. Because sometimes what your governors aren't aware of is you're going to do it online, and we'll send you a link to that. There's a tutorial that shows you. I just have to update the tutorial. It'll show you how to do an area governor report, the kind of information that we're looking for. We want to make sure that you're doing a quality, you're there for quality assurance purposes. You're there to help. And sometimes things come up, more business from the district. As I said, you are the district. But other things come up too, is that, we haven't seen this in 10 years, we haven't seen this. So as district officers, we look at that information, and perhaps, it may come up that we need judges training for contests, and we put that in place. I would suggest that you do not make your official visit on the contest day, unless there's absolutely no way that you can't do it. Because you're depriving yourself, because you're not seeing the club in its best light.
Well, you're basically in best light.
Well, I have done it, but I would suggest that you don't do it. How long do I got for it? I haven't seen any lights. That's done?
Ray, going back to area governor visiting his own club, what I've done in the past that has worked well is get the president to have somebody introduce you. It's really worked well for me.
Yeah, and there are advanced manual projects. Serving as a Toastmaster for the night, if you find a way to win-win. Yeah, when you go there, it was either Mike, I think it was Margaret had mentioned that when you're going there as the area governor, try and fit in an educational. The first time I served as area governor, I was still quite, lack of self-confidence, unsure. And I was doing speeches. I made a mistake with the one speech that I went really, there's one advanced speech that's very challenging. I don't know if anybody's done it. You have to pick 5 speeches. Yeah. You done that one? Yeah. I go 5 speeches. So I did that at a morning club, 6:45 in the morning. And had 5 topics. And for those that don't know, I'm a registered nurse. I'm also a shop steward for BC Nurses Union. We had a labor dispute with the government the year that I was serving as area governor. We weren't on strike. We just stopped doing the hundreds of hours of overtime. So the topic that they drew was, guess what? Was that particular one. So I had some of the feedback come to me and say, Toastmasters isn't a place for politics. Well, I'm not so sure about that. But the learning lesson is that I look at it back now in retrospect, that I wasted my opportunity. I really should have been doing something educational with that club. Maybe I should have had something on speech topics. Yes, it is a place for politics. It is a place to talk about sex, politics, everything else. As long as your audience is aware of it and they're participating in it and they agree with it, there really shouldn't be any taboos. That I'm getting on my soapbox here again. Right? Something I would suggest, I looked at the logistical side of things. Is anybody familiar with a SWOT analysis? Isn't that where you go after flies and try to hit them? SWOT, write down SWOT on a piece of paper. I would suggest that you all do this. I'm certainly going to. Did you see this very carefully? Yeah. Your next email comes up. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when you're coming in July 1st, we've had a couple look at our statistics through our last presenters. July 1st, it's going to take a while, I think. When do we start seeing new stats? 16th July? 16th or 17th, far away as the 20th, they will update it. So those are your baseline stats. So you're going to take a look at that, and you're going to see where your strong clubs are. So if you have clubs that are single digit, that's going to fall into a weakness. Single digit meaning, under 9. If they get 6 or under, that's when their charter gets into jeopardy. So if you start getting 9, 8, 7, 6, you have some challenges there. So those are weaknesses. They become a threat because they can very easily become a club that is no longer. And it can happen very easily. So strengths, when you look at who's your strong clubs, that's one part of it. But why are those clubs strong? I would suggest doing a SWOT analysis on the individual club. We have a club, I'll speak from my area, Area 39, our strongest club, is the Kelowna Toastmasters. They've been meeting for 52 years in the exact same location. And they have a strong program. I wouldn't want to be a member of that club because it's not my style. They follow the rules. They follow the rules a little more than perhaps than I would. They're a little more official. But they are known for Toastmasters in our community. So people know Toastmasters, Monday night, the Ramada Lodge. So they go there, so they get the people up there. But the room's a little more expensive, so they have to charge more. They have to keep their numbers up. But it's a different style of club. But they have a strong program, no ifs, ands, or buts. They are a strong club. So if my own club, we're struggling with membership. Our last 2 meetings, we only had 6 of our members out. Somehow in the Okanagan, people have other things that they want to do on a Tuesday night. And they forgot that Toastmasters exist on a Tuesday night. Not Monday Night Toastmasters, they had their full membership out. So that's an example of a strong vote. Find out why are they strong? You know, it changes executive every year. So it can't be that it's the executive, it's the culture of the club. So trying to find out, you know, what works in that way and applying the same thing to some of your weaker clubs. Some of your weaker clubs, there may be complicated reasons. You know, in some of the communities of our province, there's social economic issues, there's no jobs. If you don't have a job, you can't afford to pay your Toastmaster dues. You're worried about eating, talking, you don't have time for that. That may be, you know, specific to your individual community, but maybe not. There could be a club that's unsuccessful because there are some bad characters in that group. Something that I don't know if it's going to come up in here, and I don't know if Doug talks about it anywhere, is that as the first line of the district, the club presidents are going to be going to you. What you need to be aware of, and I believe it is covered in your manual, I want to make sure to impress upon you, is that you are not to solve the problems of the club executive. If they have a problem with an individual member, hopefully they have voted that member in, so that there's a problem there, they can vote them out. Now, in the last few years, I've known that there have been members with mental illnesses, and I work in psychiatry and mental health, so I advocate on behalf of them on my vocation. But within a Toastmasters club, something like that, if they're inappropriate for that particular setting, that could be the destruction of that club. We have also had stalkers as members, stalking some of I think it was a male stalker of a female member. So they're going to come to you, the president, to solve the problem. It's not your job to solve the problem. You get on that phone and you phone Toastmasters International directly. Or you get the club to do that. You don't have to do that. You direct the club president to phone Toastmasters International. It's not as bad as it is up in here in Canada as it is in the US, but you know, the legal system down there with liability and suing, that's kind of, you know, interpersonal conflict is a big cause for suing. So keep yourself right out of it. Don't get involved with it. If you have questions, that's why your district team is in place. You know, ask them the questions. I would really promote following the success plan at the area and division level. The district team, Doug's task over the next little while, is he has to prepare a district-wide, 10 words or 10 minutes? Well, I'm doing well. Doug's task as district governor is to prepare an overall district success plan, which incorporates everything right down to the club level and where he's going to spend his money. As area and division governors, you don't have to worry about the money component of that budget, because you don't have a budget. You don't have any money. And I know Kathy's going to be doing a section on contests, so I'm sure she's going to be talking about how finances work in there. But the success plan is setting goals. Setting goals at the end of the year. You know, Mike talked about it and Margaret talked about it. If you're going to follow the success plan, how do you know where you're going to be at the end of the year if you don't set goals? You know, when I talk about setting goals and setting direction, I use an analogy. What's the best way to get to Montreal? Take a sandwich or take a bus? Well, it doesn't make any sense at all. Nothing. And that's the same thing. If you don't set out the goal, nothing makes sense. It doesn't matter what direction you take. So if at the end of the year, what is it you want to achieve at the end of the year? You want to be a successful area. And if all the areas are successful, all the division governors will be successful too. So we'll be very happy. But how do you know what the definition of success is? You have to sit down with the individual presidents and VP of Eds and agree with them, okay, are you going to participate in this program? Where do you want to be at the end of the year? Now, I know in divisions, talking about Division C, we have some single-digit clubs, as do other divisions. And what I'm going to be putting a challenge out there is really one member a month. It doesn't sound like much. Doesn't sound like much, but at the end of the year, I'm going to put that challenge up for my own club. We sit at around 20 members. 20 members, we only had 6 coming out for our June meetings. If we're at 25 or 28, maybe we'll have 8 at our clubs. It might work out. So you have to set some goals. And I think something simple as one a month, or even if you get one every second month, I think you're still ahead of the game. And that makes the assumption that if you're bringing 1 or 2 new members in per month, you're not losing them out this end of the door. That is something, we're great at getting new members. Gene?
Ray, that's one of the things that, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but that statistic of 1 more a month, I think there's something more to it than that. Because if we're looking at our clubs, and we look at our club in the mirror and say, is the value there in our club? Because if you can't see the value, if you haven't focused on that, then getting that 1 more person in the door, the people are gonna be leaving the club just as fast. I wonder if that's something that needs to be focused at the exact same time as that number.
I think you're right. I don't think you can, membership, we're talking smaller clubs. We're not talking members of 50, clubs of 50 people. Because they, put it at 62 at the end of the year. We're talking smaller clubs. If that is a single-digit club, you have to say, why is that a single-digit club in the first place? It's not just a matter of members coming, members going. It could be the program sucks. There's no quality to the program. They're just getting together for coffee, and they're not actually having any speeches. There's no personal growth. There's no camaraderie. There's no social. There's no fun aspect to it. Why go to a club if it's painful? So you're right in the sense that membership, it gets back to me saying that I really don't go for the numbers. However, once a club starts getting down to that, if you don't set some sort of a goal, 1 a month may not be a realistic goal for all clubs, but perhaps for some of the smaller clubs, it may be. Any more questions?
So, just to point on what Gene says, like, it goes hand in hand. Like, it's good to have a goal to get the members in, but, you have to work on giving them something to work out to stay for.
And what would that be?
Good meeting. So if you don't have a good meeting and you don't look at the club meeting.
Okay, to the next level. What's a good meeting? This is live, folks, because we're seeing where this goes. What's the definition of a good meeting?
Having fun and learning something.
Having fun and learning something. What else?
Food. Fun on time.
Food. Well, food works, yeah. I like that. What else? Well, specifically, what about the evaluations?
Strong and
Good
constructive.
quality, people are learning from it, they're being challenged, they're not being felt like they're being picked on or tortured. Okay, so that's part of your definition of a good meeting. What else?
Seeing people improve.
Yes?
Recognition.
You want to see the people because they're really friendly.
Social. People come up, some people have come up for 20 years and haven't given a speech in many years. They enjoyed it.
Nurturing environment.
Nurturing environment. Thank you for that, Tom. You don't have to have a patented or trademarked or anything, do you?
3 things came to my mind, Ray. I thought one was the attitude equals altitude. Another one
That
was
sounds familiar.
The second one was having some serious fun in the club. And the third one that came to my mind was testing their limits.
That's from the sucking up manual. Advanced politics.
I think there's something about his genes.
Question back here?
Actually, I was going to say that one of the big ones, whether you're a new member or an old member, is a supportive environment. Everybody needs that.
But is it always there?
No.
No. I think sometimes we get complacent and we take it for granted. You're going to do that, or it's their job to do that. And that's get right down to the individual members. I think, I've talked to different people about it. I talked about it earlier, that I'm finding that there's a growth curve that takes place on the individual member. An individual member usually joins, it's me. They're taking everything. That person that comes in 1 minute to 7 and they're gone 1 minute after 9, they're not participating in anything. But after a while, you start to realize that, and you start taking on some of these leadership roles, that your learning curves go straight up in the air once you start helping somebody else do something. That's what we have. Mentorship is built into several different parts of our program. You can still continue to do that as area governor, of course. It's helping your presidents and bringing them on. But once you start helping some people, or somebody else, you're in the position of a servant leader. They're allowing you to lead. You've got influence over them. You're developing your leadership skills. They're benefiting from it. That's your supportive environment. That's why people keep coming out. Versus a club where there's no mentoring, no support. Chop, chop, let's get her on, let's go. Comments, questions?
Well, the one thing I've heard people say, education and these different things. But the one thing that hasn't been mentioned is that a lot of people join Toastmasters because they want to get over their fear of public speaking. And that is what Toastmasters mostly encompasses. And so if they come to a club and they're not getting that education that they originally searched for, they get other things from the club as they go along. They do get the social aspect and the other aspects, the food and the other things as they go along. But their initial joining is what satisfies the person when they join the club. And in my experience, Toastmasters is famous for teaching people to speak in public, in front of large groups. And so that should be some of the emphasis, which is basically education. But I sort of felt through the descriptions, these people were missing that original mark.
Well, the DTM membership, really the gist of what their duties is to find out why the person's there, what they hope to get, what they hope to achieve, and is the club servicing those needs. We do get, it's a different continuum. We get people that are absolutely terrified to stand up and speak. I was terrified just introducing myself or walking up shaking somebody's hand when I first joined. That you get people at the other end of the spectrum that are professional speakers. You know, they've joined CAPS, they've joined NSA to learn the professional, the business side of it, but they come to Toastmasters for practice. They don't need to get over the fear. So not everybody is afraid of public speaking.
Well, I shouldn't have just used the
So
word fear.
Yes.
It encompasses public speaking in general. I didn't mean that.
And that's the way Toastmasters really was, but we were really pushing the leadership side of things. The more you take on the leadership side, the more you will have public speaking opportunities, the more you'll reduce your anxiety. There's a question back here?
I was going to say, after one of my visits to one of the clubs, I think that one of the reasons it's low membership is the small community has the perception that we're some kind of self-help group in that particular community. And so I think if you've got people that are coming, there are a small group of people, and the rest of the community sees them as just trying to help each other, you know, either fear of public speaking, that actually we've got a problem. And so I liked your analogy where you've got the continuum, because you don't draw the leaders of the community.
You need the combination. If everybody was terrified of speaking, who's going to get up and speak? It's going to be a long, painful meeting.
Earlier in the day, we were talking about visual, kinesthetic, and audio type people. I think it's the same thing with our clubs, is that you're going to get people who will join for different reasons. Like you said, the professionals who want to speak. You've got the other ones who need a social outlet. So I think that by providing all of those areas, the one thing that you will find with people who are coming into a club that maybe don't know anyone, if there is a social aspect, they feel more comfortable to start with, and that will allow them to sort of get over their fear of maybe hanging out with these people. I know the first time I spoke, I shook for 2 hours afterwards, and I was terrified. Yeah, it's true. And so I think that it's a little bit of everything that we have to sort of foster in the clubs in order to make people want to join. Food is a good start. We have
I was a little over 6 months before I did my icebreaker. Well, final comment here?
Okay, just one more, like, we are talking about the continuum of people. Like I've been there before. I've been to a club where some of the members were afraid to say their name. In my home club, you wouldn't even come in. I mean, everybody, you know, we are a professional club. Everybody is used to speaking to other people, even a small group of people. That's when you come in. Never mind saying something.
Okay, thanks. My time's up here. What I want to leave you with one thing. If you go home with more questions than you came with, you've done our job. Because we've got you thinking about it. All the information is in your manual, and the other information you have. Check out the district website. There is a support structure in place to help you. You shouldn't have to go to the end of the year to find out who your division governor is, who are your presidents. Now put this guy to work.
Thank you, Ray, for giving us a question comes out. What do we do?